All right, show me the money. NFL picks for week number 12 are here. Thanksgiving week is here. Joining me today to break it all down, do the picks. Dallas Cowboys fan Troy Mauriello is here. Troy, how are you?
Doing well, Mike. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. I'm probably better than you are, considering you guys played the game of the weekend. Got completely obliterated by the offensive line no show. So, I mean, what are your thoughts about the Chief game?
Yeah, it always kind of ruins the beginning of your week. Mondays are already kind of stink, and then when your team kind of lays an egg in the national televised game on Sunday, that kind of doesn't get your week off on a good foot. But yeah, that was just a mess of a game from the Cowboys. They were really outplayed from the opening kickoff. Dak missing Michael Gallup on really the first throw of the game when he had him wide open kind of set the tone for a lot of miscues, a lot of missed opportunities, really on offense. I thought that their defense actually played well. I mean, they held the Chiefs to 19 points after giving up 16 in the first quarter and a half. They really locked them down. They played well in the red zone. They forced a couple turnovers. So the defense did their job. Like you said, it was the offense that was just horrendous. Almost worse than they were really in the Denver game a couple weeks ago. Couldn't block anyone. Missing Tyron Smith. He's really one of their most important players on offense. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb leaving at halftime, and Dak just didn't have it today. He was missing some open guys. Receivers were dropping passes. So all that is a recipe for scoring 9 points, kicking 3 field goals on the road. You're not going to beat the Chiefs in that scenario. The Chiefs, in my opinion, didn't even really look all that impressive offensively. The Cowboys just kind of beat themselves and took themselves out of the game early, and then they never really made a comeback, it felt like.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing that's frustrating about that game is more so that your defense played well. You held Mahomes down for the most part. It's just that you couldn't block, the line couldn't do anything, and those are the worst kind of games. You just can't get anything going. You can't block.
Yeah, and that's the most frustrating thing about the loss is, like you said, the defense was really solid. If you would have told me, even after Amari Cooper was ruled out on Friday, if you would have told me, 24 hours before the game, hey, you're going to give up 19 points, I would have said they're probably going to win this game because I would have been confident that even without Tyron Smith, they would have been able to put up somewhere in the 20s and eke out a win in Arrowhead. Yeah, the offensive line was really the biggest issue. Dak just had no time. And you saw it in the routes that they were running. They weren't able to push the ball downfield like they like to. They weren't able to extend the field. There was really a lot of checkdowns, a lot of screens, a lot of passes behind the line of scrimmage or drag routes. So nothing was really opening up downfield for them. And that's why they look so inept on offense. And unfortunately, now that's kind of 2 out of the last 3 weeks where they've kind of been shut down for a majority of the game on offense. Maybe a little bit eyebrow raising there.
Yeah, for sure. This is an interesting year for the Cowboys. Obviously, they are still running away favorites in the NFC East. I mean, Philly's gotten hot, but they're not nearly as good as Dallas is. And the question is here: no, Dallas they measure by Lombardi trophies, not just winning division. So, do you think they can get out of the NFC this year? It feels like a very weird year trying to project anything in this league.
Well, for me personally, I measure by let's just try to make the playoffs. In my lifetime, I've never even come close to a Lombardi Trophy, but this year, yeah, I think that they have a shot. The NFC is so loaded; it's very top heavy, as we all know. Those top five teams in the NFC. I think you could really make a case for Arizona, the Rams, the Bucks, the Packers, and the Cowboys to win it. Really wouldn't shock me if any of them made it to the Super Bowl. I think that the Cowboys are really on the level with all of those teams. Obviously, they played the Bucks once this year. They were right there with them in the first game. So I think that they've got a shot for sure. It's really just going to shake up with the matchups, how the matchups fall. If they are the 4 seed, I think that's going to be a really, really tough task because they'd likely have to play either the Rams or the Cardinals in a first round wild card game and then go on the road to face whoever the 1 seed is in the divisional round, which is a tough, tough task. I think it's all about trying to get either the 1 seed or the 2 seed, or at worst case, the 3 seed, to give yourself maybe a bit of an easier path. But it's going to be a slugfest between those 5 teams, and you could really make a case for any of them. And I think that the Cowboys are really right there.
They are right there. And obviously, it's Thanksgiving. They're playing at home. They have the Raiders coming in here. The Raiders really fallen off a cliff since the Henry Ruggs thing happened. And what do you think the keys are here for the Cowboys to win this game?
Yeah, it's just getting off to a good start. Especially offensively, they're going to be shorthanded. They're going to have at least, you would assume, Amari Cooper out, and then probably CeeDee Lamb as well. So your offense is going to be a little bit shorthanded. Try to set the tone early. They against Atlanta, they take the ball first. They drive right down the field. They score a touchdown. They blow them out. Against the Chiefs, they take the ball first. They miss an opportunity on first down. They end up going 3 and out. and they end up losing that game and only scoring 9 points. I say, take the ball first, set the tone, try to put some points on the board early. I don't think that, the Raiders offense really hasn't been great the last couple of weeks. You should be able to kind of, silence them a little bit offensive or defensively. So, try to set the tone early, try to get some points on the board early, make it a little bit easier for your offense so that you're not chasing points, so that you can, set the run and see if you can get out of there with a win against a team, like you said, that's really been free falling the last couple of weeks and has dealt with so much adversity this season. You hope that they don't get back on track against the Cowboys.
Yeah, before we get to the picks, I want to talk a little about this Thanksgiving triple header here, because we already knew going into the week that the Lion Bear games be a massive dud. I mean, that's one that you watch it just because it's on and there's not much going on. I just really feel like the later two games have lost a lot of luster in the last like 3 weeks.
Yeah, especially with the Bills and the Saints kind of falling off as the night game. I still think Cowboys Raiders is a really cool matchup in general, and especially on Thanksgiving. I think actually the last 3 times they played the Raiders, they've played them on Thanksgiving, so that seems like that's always the spot for them. I still think that'll be a cool game, and Bills Saints is still a watchable game, but like you mentioned, both of those teams have really kind of fell off the last couple of weeks. So maybe that game loses a little bit of its luster, but still the Bills fighting for that AFC East title, and the Saints are still in playoff contention despite their kind of poor run of late. So, it's football, it's Thanksgiving. They all go together. We're all going to be watching every second of every game anyways. So yeah, I'm still looking forward to it.
At least the first two. By the time the third game comes around, by the time you have all the turkey, the family putting you to sleep by the third quarter of Bill Saints.
Yeah, I've definitely fell asleep on the couch to the night game a couple of years. So maybe I can stay up this year. Maybe I'll go a little bit light on the turkey.
Yeah, for sure. And let's get to the NFL picks. Is the reason why you're here. My friend Dan DiMartini was here last week. He went 1-2 on the week. He had the unfortunate situation where he took the Ravens laying the points before Lamar Jackson got ruled out with the game. They win by 3, not cover the 5.5. He went heads up with me on Washington and Carolina. Washington won outright, so he won that one. And he had, for his last game, I've got to look up on my list here because it's so crazy. Got to try and keep track of all these games. It's pretty nuts with how deep into the season we are. And I think, he had the Titans laying the 10.5 against the Houston Texans, and they just didn't show up. Yeah, it was not a good one for him. He went 1-2 in the week. I went 2-1. I did lose the heads up pick with him. I did call correctly. I'm trying to again go back to my list here because again, this is what happens when you're trying to do podcasts on the fly, multiple different things going on here. I had the Chiefs in your game. I had them laying a 2.5. I figured they would win that game outright. They came through for me, and I was sweating out the Steelers all night last night, getting the 5.5 points, and they came back in the fourth quarter and covered the number. So good job for me.
For a long time, and then it ends up hitting at the very end there. I'm sure you were happy.
I am very happy. So on the year, team challengers now is 12-20-1, and I am 17-16. It's not been a good year. It's been very tough.
All right, well, I'll try to turn things around for the challengers.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get started with the picks. So you are up first as the guest. Where are you going with pick number 1?
Okay, pick number 1. I'm going to go to the New England Patriots laying 5.5 against the Tennessee Titans. Listen, I just think that the Patriots are absolutely rolling right now. Their defense is shutting people down. Mac Jones looks like he's been the best rookie quarterback by far compared to all the other guys that were taken in the first round. I think that he's been taking care of the ball. He's been finding up. They've kind of built that offense in a good way around him. And their defense, like I said, has just been absolutely shut down. I think that they'll make the Titans kind of one-dimensional. It's a pretty big spread for a team that's 8-3, but I just think that the Patriots are absolutely rolling right now. So I'm going to take them laying the 5.5 points at home against the Titans for my first pick.
Yeah, that's one for me is more of a stay away because I know Tennessee played well for a few weeks. Not Derrick Henry. Now Julio Jones on the shelf. AJ Brown gets hurt every game. Like I wouldn't be shocked if they went in there and won that game. Wouldn't be shocked if they get blown out. So for me, that's a stay away.
All right, fair enough.
Where are you going? Pick 2.
All right, pick 2. This one again, maybe a little bit of an interesting pick. I'm going to take the Falcons +1 on the road, or -1 actually on the road against the Jaguars. Listen, I don't think that the Jaguars should be in like a pick'em game against anyone. I know that the Falcons have looked horrible the last 2 weeks against the Patriots and against my Cowboys, but I think that they're due for a bounce back. They're kind of due for a get right game. They're not that bad. I don't think that they're that bad. So I'm going to take the Falcons in basically what's a pick'em against the Jaguars. I just don't think, like I said, the Jaguars are kind of everyone's get right game. They were just blown out yesterday. I don't think that they're a very good team. So it's more just fading the Jaguars than it is having faith in the Falcons. So I'm going to take the Falcons in that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that game because, again, the number is too close. But that, to me, that's a spot where I would actually lean the Jaguars because I just don't trust Atlanta. The three of their wins here against the Giants, the Jets, and the Dolphins, who are all very bad teams. Two of them were very close wins. So I would not be shocked at all if they went down to Jacksonville and lost that game. So that's why I'm staying the hell away from it.
Yeah, it's a total toss-up. I just don't like the Jaguars.
All right, pick number 2. Pick number 3. Where are you going?
Pick 3, I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings on the road against the 49ers. I'm going to take them +3 in this. Right now it's +3. Again, I think that they're a little bit due. This is a risky pick for sure, but I just think that they made something happen yesterday against the Packers. I think that they maybe found something yesterday. I think that they're due. I think that this is a playoff team. I really do. And if they're going to be a playoff team, they got to win games like this. It's a 4:25 start. I know I don't love taking Kirk Cousins in those late starts, but I don't think it's the national game, so I feel okay about that. And I'm not buying on the Niners. It feels like every time this season, it's been one step forward, two steps back for them. I guess you could say the same thing about the Vikings as well. But I feel comfortable taking the Vikings even on the road, getting 3 points. I think it's going to be a close game. I think that they could very well win outright and kind of push themselves towards the playoffs. So I'm going to take the Vikings +3 in this one.
God bless you taking that game. And both teams go up and down the whole year. So that's all I'm staying the hell away from.
All right, you're staying away from all 3 of mine then, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Pick number 1 for me. Now I'm going to go to Thanksgiving. I'm going to take your team laying the 7 against the Raiders. This is also a heavy fan of the Raiders. They have completely fallen off the map. They got blown out at home 2 weeks in a row. First by Kansas City, which I get. The Bengals, not so much. And this team has just got nothing left. You think even Dallas is down players. They're going to run the football. Their defense will dominate this game. They're going to win this game by double digits. I'm going to take the Cowboys, lay the 7 on Thanksgiving, pick 1.
That is the back door, is that the Cowboys are winning by 2 scores and the Raiders kind of get a garbage one late. But yeah, it is a safe pick. The Raiders are absolutely going in the wrong direction right now.
That's pick 1 for me. Pick number 2, I'm going to the big game of the week, the other 425. I'm going to take the Packers laying the 1 at home against the Rams. And let's talk about the Rams, all their big names. That give me one spot this year where they've gone on the road, picked up a big win in a spot where they should win here. And Green Bay played better against the Vikings. They came back late. They had a controversial call go against them. They lose the game late. It's only a point. I think they're going to win this game by at least a touchdown. So give me the Packers laying the 1 against the Rams, pick 2.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a weird line there. And like you mentioned, the Rams, they've really under-delivered in every big game that they've been in this year. So I like the pick.
All right, it's pick number 2. Pick number 3, I'm going to Sunday Night Football. I'm going to take the Ravens laying the 4 against the Browns. And I'm assuming Lamar Jackson will be recovered from whatever illness he has by the time this game is played. Even if he's not, though, Cleveland has looked bad. I know Baker is playing hurt. They struggled mightily to beat the Lions last week, and the Lions are 0-9-1 going into Thanksgiving. And Baltimore, I think, is due for a big bounce back here. And getting Cleveland coming in here on Sunday night, those games last year were wild. Baltimore won them both. I think Baltimore will put up a big effort here. The defense, I think, will shut the Browns down. So I'm going to take Baltimore laying 4, last pick of the week.
Yeah, if I had a 4th pick, that would have been my 4th pick. I had that on my original card, and I said I'll change it up. I'll go with the Vikings, but I love that pick. I think that they're going to roll in that game.
All right, so to reset the picks here, Troy's taking the Patriots laying 5.5 at home against the Tennessee Titans. The Vikings +3 in Santa Clara against the Niners, and the Falcons laying 1 in Jacksonville against the Jaguars. I am taking the Cowboys on Thanksgiving laying 7 against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Packers laying 1 at home against the LA Rams, and the Ravens laying 4 against the Browns on Sunday Night Football. Those are your picks for week number 12 on the podcast. Week 13, don't have a guest locked in officially yet. So in lieu of teasing what's coming up there, let's do something else. Let's talk a little college basketball. I know your forte here.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into it.
Yeah, and the college basketball is fun this week because when you have the Thanksgiving week, you get a lot of these MTEs, the multi-team events, all the tournaments coming up here. And I've had a chance to look at a bunch of these. I'm excited about a lot of these tournaments. Which ones are you most jazzed up for this week?
I love the battle for Atlantis. I think that there's so many high quality teams in that one. You got UConn and Auburn in a first round game, Baylor and Arizona State. There's some big time teams in that one. I love it. I think we mentioned in our college basketball preview, the Maui tournament is a little bit underwhelming this year, obviously not being played in Hawaii. I think the battle for Atlantis kind of takes over as the big tournament for sure. And then how about, tomorrow night, Gonzaga, UCLA, 1 versus 2, doesn't get much better than that. And then we end the week with Gonzaga and Duke. It's a fun time to be a college basketball fan. I always see people say if you're not watching college basketball until March, you're missing out. And this is the stuff that you're missing out on. We've had some incredible games this weekend. Or yesterday, we just got a Final Four preview possibly in Villanova and Purdue. There's a ton of high quality games being played right now, and I'm really looking forward to this week.
Yeah, throw a couple more in there in terms of underrated. I think the Fort Myers tip-off, Ohio State, Seton Hall, Cal, and Florida. I think it's a pretty good field of four. I like that one. Yeah, as I mentioned here, I'm going to throw out two other ones here. The ESPN Events Invitational down in Orlando. Like I said, a lot of quality mids. The Alabama-Iona NCAA tournament rematch on Thursday be fun. Iona 5-0. They picked up good wins against Harvard, Liberty, Hofstra, the things in quality mids. Alabama struggled to get by South Alabama at home. So I have to pick Alabama in that game, but I think it's be close. People think.
Yeah, that'll be a good kind of measuring stick game for Iona. You would assume that they're not going to be able to pull out the win, but should be an interesting game to see how long they can hang with Alabama for.
Yeah, you got some quality mids in that field. I mean, Belmont's there, Iona's there, Drake is there, North Texas went to the tournament last year. There's a lot of good mids in that field.
Yeah, that's what this time of year is all about, is just challenging yourself, playing these tough games against teams that are a little bit better than you or teams that are on your level to kind of see where you're at in November. No one's going to win a national title in November. It's all about, kind of preparing yourself to make that run in January, February, and March.
Yeah, and one other one I'll throw out there, the last one I'll mention here, the NIT season tip-off. When it was a preseason NIT, I think it has probably the most underrated game of the week here is Memphis, Virginia Tech on Wednesday night at the Barclays Center. So if you want to see this event, go down there, buy a ticket. I think that's an underrated game. I would not be shocked if Memphis lost that game.
Yeah, I actually didn't even know that game was going on. So speaks to your point about it being underrated. That's a really solid game. Yeah, I'll definitely be tuning into that.
Yeah, I think Xavier's on the other half of that bracket. He's got into the top 25 this week. So
yep.
That's going to be a good final setup regardless. I'm assuming Xavier takes care of Iowa State. I would think that I'll be shocked if they don't.
Yeah, good field there. Xavier looked really impressive last week against Ohio State. And then Big East looking strong with 4 teams ranked right now. Xavier and Seton Hall entering the top 25.
Absolutely, Troy. Thanks for all the time. I really appreciate it. Before I let you go, if you follow social media, keep up with your podcast, the Seeing Red podcast.
Sure. Yeah. You can follow me on Twitter at Troy Mauriello. The last name is Mauriello. I do the Seeing Red podcast, cover St. John's and a little bit of Big East hoops. We come out with new shows every week. We got a big game with Kansas coming up next week. So definitely tune in for my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I believe it's the first college basketball game that the Islanders do plays out of UBS.
It is. Yeah. Friday, December 3rd, St. John's opens that for college basketball. So really looking for, I'll be there in person. Should be a really fun game. Good measuring stick game for the Johnnies again.
Yeah, next time we talk, I want a scouting report out in arena because I've not been out there yet. I don't know when I'll get out there. So hopefully I'll see how the Vantage lines look for basketball.
Yes, I'll have the full scouting report for you.
All right, Troy. Thanks all the time. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Mike.